Good morning. Welcome to another Coffee and Convo. My name's Jay, and this is Life After 50. Isn't it so fun? Today, we're going to talk about physical health, and in particular, my physical health. It's gorgeous. The weather's really starting to get nice here in California. I reside in Central California. It tends to get really, really hot, so as that transition starts to happen, I really kind of like it warm, not hot, but it's inevitable. It's coming. The heat is coming. Anyway, let's go ahead and tell a really quick story so I don't drag this out too long, but get situated over here. I'm not going to turn the fire on today, but I think I'm going to sit. I think I'm going to sit in the same spot. No fire. I notice you guys can't see the fire anyway, at least it didn't show up in the last video. And I hope I'm in frame here. When I turned 49, the first thing I thought about was my health. I was really out of shape. I was sitting at 220 pounds. The weight I feel fit at is about 180, is a really solid fit ratio for me. I'm about a little over 6'1", so it's just my body frame, my body type. And obviously, you know, there's more than what you look like and your weight when it comes to like health, you know, the way you eat and your blood work and all that. And I have an underlying condition called Crohn's disease. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about it. So when I turned 49, you know, for the first 6 months, I was just really, really contemplating, you know, my health and where I was at and, you know, how could I change it? And because I've had Crohn's disease for, at this point, 27 years since I've been diagnosed, I really wanted to just figure out, I've tried everything under the sun. You name it, I've tried it, from everything from Mediterranean diet to just calorie counting and, you know, shakes and broth and, you know, the water diet, vegan, all that kind of stuff. None of it never seemed to kind of control my Crohn's. And then one of my vices is eating. You know, I turned to food. And I think the reason I do is because of the Crohn's disease. Simply because, you know, you're told you can't have something. It just makes you want it more. So, like, when nothing's working right, I just indulge in food. And it doesn't matter if it's sweets or not. Especially carbs and sugar, I tend to really go heavy on those types of things. So right around March 1st, it was actually before March 1st when I learned about the carnivore diet. And I may put a picture here of my before and after. I can't remember how many months it was, but I'm sure I have it in my archive somewhere. And this is something that I was doing, and I was tracking my weight loss. And I had a significant weight loss all the way up to my 50th birthday. I think, again, I started at 220 pounds. I think by September, I started March 1st. By September, I think I was down under 180. I think it was 178, I want to say. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I lost a significant amount of weight. And I was very, very happy. I felt so energetic. Everything, I mean, I haven't felt that good in a long time. It truly helped put my Crohn's in remission. I was off all medicines. You know, so when you hear people talk about the carnivore diet and its health benefits and stuff, it's a real deal. You cannot go wrong on the carnivore diet. The disclaimer I will throw out there for people is that there's, again, and I mentioned this yesterday in Coffee and Convo, about always there's being this cookie cutter realization that we try to put out there. And the honest truth is that there is literally no cookie cutter diet. There's no cookie cutter anything that's going to be a heal all, cure all for every single person. We all have different genetics, DNA, you know, underlying issues, you name it. So to put all your focus in on a diet that works for somebody and not really exploring yourself, you know, you got to do what works for you. And that could be anything, really. For me, the carnivore diet just seemed not only to make sense, but it was proven to work. So that really changed everything for me. Now, since I turned 50, I maintained the carnivore lifestyle for nearly a year and a half. So I think it was just maybe 6 to 8 months ago, maybe a little bit more. I don't know exactly what happened. I mean, I know I fell into a little bit of depression, and we'll get into that. It's going right back to the mental health stuff. You know, when I had somebody that I knew passed away with a heart attack in their sleep, and that messed with my psyche. And you know, you would think that would scare me straight, but instead it took me the other way. And I just been gorging, man. I just been gorging on food. And just this past Tuesday, I decided for the first time in a very long time to get on a scale, and came in at 220 again. I gained it all back. Everything that I worked so hard to lose, the whole emphasis I put on being fit for 50 is what I called it, and how much it worked, how much I knew it made me feel better. And here I am now, and it's like, man, the problem is you know, I have a family of 6. There's 6 of us, 7 if you count my disabled daughter who's 23, but she has her own income, and we balance her own thing. She technically pays her own way and takes care of herself, even though we take care of her. But I'm in charge of, you know, 5 other people besides myself, and doing a carnivore diet is not necessarily easy to afford. Not in my situation. And there's definitely ways to do it, and I was doing it, and it was primarily mostly hamburger meat. But man, after a while, it gets extremely hard. So as of last Tuesday, you know, a week ago to this video, I have been doing more what they call ketovore, which is, you know, what's the difference between keto and ketovore? Well, keto, you know, you could have carbs in very low, very, very, very low sugar amounts. Carbs, maybe like 40, 50 grams a day. Ketovore, from my understanding, the way I'm doing it is, I mean, I'm all in on the protein, the fat, but I do a little bit of carbs. I get my carbs from like spinach leaves, salsa, and maybe some cauliflower rice every once in a while. That's my take and my version of ketovore. So it has a little bit more options for me, and it allows me to use more leaner meat that I could use like guacamole and salsa to kind of flavor it and fatten it up a little bit. And, you know, I haven't really tested to see how well it's working. I mean, I know I feel a little bit better. I know I'm not as bloated, but, you know, the main reason why the physical part of this whole journey for me, especially after 50, is so important is, for one, I know that today's today, tomorrow's tomorrow, and nothing's guaranteed. And if you don't really have a mindset of taking care of yourself, you put yourself in a position where you don't know. Anything could happen, right? You could have a heart attack, you could have a stroke, whatever the case may be. You know, my Crohn's could get so bad that, you know, I have to have surgery again. I had surgery back when I was 25 years old. My intestine popped and burst, so not a very fun experience. So ultimately, I need to get into the doctor. I need to get things checked out. I don't want no pills. We'll definitely be talking about that, you know, at some point on one of these coffee and convos. But taking care of yourself, getting yourself mentally fit, physically fit, spiritually fit, these are all going to make your life after 50 much, much better. And again, like so much, like this is a deep rabbit hole, you know. I just wanted to share with you, you know, that not only is it possible to get fit in your 50s, yes, it's also possible for you to get unfit in your 50s really quick, which I've done. So I've made it to my 50th birthday, fit as I could be. And now I find myself getting ready to turn 52, and I'm right back where I started. So again, that's where the mental health comes in, man, and having that moral compass pointed north, and in creating disciplines and creating focus. And it is so easy to get caught up into this world that feeds us nothing but junk. And I would go down that rabbit hole too right now, but you know, I don't want to make these videos too long or talk about it all at once. But you know, here in the very near future, I definitely want to get into America the Free. That's probably what I'll call it. America the Free, ? Yeah, we're free to do whatever it is we want or whatever it is we need within the right parameters, of course, you know, of the law. But we don't think for ourselves. We don't think as free people. We wait for other people to tell us what we need, how we should get it, how to be healthy, how to be, and just everything, and the things that we've been given as a lie. But nevertheless, I just wanted to put it out there, document it for prosperity, that being fit in your 50s is not impossible, doesn't matter. I mean, like, look it up online. There's so many people doing it. There's so many people, and they're doing it in different ways. And that's the other point I wanted to make today is carnivore, keto, calorie counting, Mediterranean diet. If I had to tell somebody, for me, that what I have learned and what I believe myself, the best diet out there that would be a cookie cutter diet that I would really suggest for every single person that's trying to be healthy, depending on your underlying issues and such, would be the paleo diet. Fresh meat, fresh veggies. I would limit the carbs to your vegetables. I would definitely stay away from breads, high contrast carbs. What I like to tell people is when you go to the grocery store, really kind of stay to the perimeters, your produce department, your dairy department, and your meat department are the primary ones where I think that's where health lives. Everything else in the middle of the store, unless there's some condiments and stuff that you could add to those things, stay away from seed oils, stay away from processed food, stay away from processed sugar, high condensed carbs, like all that stuff you just need to just get rid of. And you would see a drastic change in your life. So if you're looking for, just a basic diet, something that gives you variety and flavor, look into paleo stuff. Try to eat as clean as you can. For people that have, some underlying issues, whether it's like extreme obesity, any autoimmune disorder, heavy from arthritis to Crohn's disease to MS even. I've watched stories of how carnivore has helped that. Elimination diets is where your base should be. I've come from a place of experience to be able to tell you that it does work. It does change things from inflammation to arthritis to Crohn's disease that I have to brain fog that I believe stems from inflammation. Inflammation is a very serious thing and it starts in your gut. So you could go as extreme as pure carnivore, where they call it the lion diet, where you're doing nothing but meat and salt. Or you could, go more carnivore, regular basic carnivore, where you could put a lot of like butter and salt and different types of meat, that works well. Keto is another way that you could add a little bit more substance to your meals, a little bit of carbs. And again, the cleaner you eat, right? Stay away from processed stuff. And that's the danger of keto. So I'll put that warning out there to you guys right now. When keto got really popular, you could like go to Costco or any place and everybody's putting on their box, keto friendly, keto friendly. And a lot of these things, have all these added chemicals and ingredients to make it taste good, to make it almost taste like a sweet. And people were just, well, it's keto. And they're just started over and indulging on it, just like we do everything else. And then next thing you know, you're out of ketosis, because that's the whole point. And your body's not running off of fat. It's running off all this crap. And I just promise you, if you want to do keto, do your research. We'll have some convos about, carbs and processed foods. We'll talk about it more if you want me to get into it. You find this video, you want to put it in the comment section. Remember, I really want the engagement here. Continue the conversation in the comment section. What's been your experience, with health and diet and fitness? I definitely don't tell you have to go to get a gym membership and start pumping up heavy weight. You just need to be active, walking, get an Apple Watch, track your steps. And I'm not talking steps where I'm just walking around doing normal stuff in the house. I'm talking meaningful, purposeful steps where you're getting a good 10,000 purposeful steps, where you're going for walks. Start off by walking a mile, bump it up to 2 miles, 3 miles, so on and so forth. Create some purpose in your life to actually dedicate amounts of time to movement and exercise where you elevate your heart rate just enough to get yourself to burn some calories. It's a real natural burn. You don't have to be this crazy fit monster that's doing heavy weights and push-ups and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Just put a little bit more emphasis on actual exercise, lightweight exercise. That will change. Like there's so much out there that is over driven in our brains to make us think that, you know, we have to do the excessive. You don't have to do the excessive. I've watched people on the carnivore diet not lift a weight, just go for walks and eat meat, and their lives have drastically changed. And the good thing is, you know, I'm only 220. 180 is not that far away. I got 40 pounds to lose. And I know that I could do it. So I'll keep you guys posted. I'm not going to track it like I did before and take pictures with my shirt off and do all that. I'm over that. You know, that's what motivated me to turn 50 and be fit. I'm in my 50s now. I just need to basically get my stuff together, get back on eating right, being more active, which I'm a pretty active guy as it is. I'm surprised I'm able to be as active as I am, and now that I'm at this weight, but I need to drop at least 40 pounds. So I'll keep you guys posted on that journey as well. And again, use the comment section, join the conversation, bring up some conversations. Let's talk it through. You know, getting old is not the end. It's just the beginning of something new, right? It's a new chapter in your life. And I look forward to doing this together. So thank you for being here. This has been another Coffee and Convo. My name is Jay, and I'll see you guys on the next video.